everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Convergence. I'm Alex, and I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so excited. I have a wonderful guest on this episode, and I'm so excited for where this party is going to take us. So, welcome. Everyone join me in welcoming my guest today, Jacob Showers.
Nice. That was a fantastic intro. I love it, yes.
Which actually is his last name, I just confirmed.
Yeah, we have a clip. We'll clip it in right here, actually. She just roasted me for my last name.
Is your last name really Showers?
That's crazy. Is your last name really Kaminsky? That's crazy last name. I would never. But yeah, okay, cool. Good start.
Yeah, so before we get into introductions and everything, we just set our intentions, but I wanted to just start with us saying one thing that we're grateful for today. I think that's really important. So I'm really grateful today for my body and all that it is capable of.
This is fun. I would say right now I'm really grateful for like the friends and people I have in my life. Like the last 2 months, like hanging out with my friends and even like just coming to class and seeing the people that I do has been really fun. So yeah, life is really fun. So yeah, grateful for that.
Love it. Now
Yeah,
we're just
cool.
in a great mood to just
Totally.
keep this thing going.
Yeah, let's rock.
Okay, well, I will let you introduce yourself, maybe just like your little elevator pitch. So I'll kind of start it off is that you're the creator and founder of Aeon Training, and that's kind of where I met you and what I know you as. So maybe in your own words, explain who you are and what you do.
Okay, cool. So my name's Jacob Showers. I am 28 years old. I started a company or athletic club called Aeon Training. Started it with like an intention of creating something cool, and then everyone that joined kind of created it with me, right? But I guess a little bit about me. If there's anything about me that may be unique, is that I want life to be really, really awesome, and me and my friends and all the people around me, like it's very intentional that we make life as cool as it can be, whether that's the meals that we're cooking or the ways that we're training or going to the mountains or even doing this podcast outside how we are right now. It's like how awesome could life be, and we should do the things that we think are really awesome. Like your intention, funny enough, today was to be awesome, right?
Yep.
Like that was your intention.
Yep.
And that's really like a very strong priority or goal of mine, is to make life like really, really worth living. And so that's kind of what shapes my decision making, I guess. But so that's who I am. Someone just trying to do that, I guess.
I like that because I had a question for you about something and you already, that was great. This is just going to flow so good. I'm so excited. So I met you for the first time when I showed up to class at Aeon.
Totally. Yeah,
I know
yeah.
a lot of people who come to your class, they've known you from previous places that you've been and they've followed you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I kind of came in not knowing you.
Yeah.
So this was like my first introduction to you, which was super cool. But I guess maybe take us back maybe a few steps to like how you got to where you are today in like creating Aeon, and maybe like a few steps before that, like from your entrance into like the fitness world.
Okay. So I would say, so it goes like pretty far back. Like, for example, when I was 20, I started a clothing company in college that was called like Know the Road. And the whole idea was, like actually pursue the journey of life that you want to, as opposed to like selling out, that kind of idea. And like, you're very passionate as like a 20-year-old. And I started dyeing hoodies and doing photo shoots with like models and putting like campaigns together, and then I would like sell the hoodies. Like, yeah, this is the thing.
That's cool.
And so that was kind of the beginning, or I guess really the beginning was getting a camera in high school, and I started taking photos, and it kind of shaped into like a brand, which is very interesting. And then that evolved into me doing the clothing stuff and creative expression. But in terms of like immediately in Denver, because there was a whole bunch of stuff that happened after that. I got a phone call from my buddy Luis on like New Year's Eve of 2021. And he was like, hey, I live in Denver, Colorado. I lived in Texas at the time. And he was like, would you want to come up here and be the head coach of Orange Theory? And I was like, no way. Like, you're crazy.
Like in a good way or a bad way?
Well, just like, I don't know, like I'm gonna completely change my life altogether right now. You know,
Oh,
like at
okay.
first I was like, that's like wild. Like that's a, that's a wild ask, I guess. And then for the next 3 days, I like randomly thought about it, and then I was like, like what would I be losing if I left? And besides some people that say that I loved, I would be missing out on the journey of life if I stayed. Like that, I would actually just lose more if I stayed, right? And there wasn't very much going on in College Station and stuff like this. And one of the notes that I wrote down on the piece of paper whenever I moved here was like, what are my goals? And my goal, I think I had it by like 27 or 28, was to be starting my own gym. Right?
Really?
Yeah. And I knew it would be called Aeon. And I moved here, and my buddy Luis and I were head coaches, and we would literally just like go run around the mountains. We created this friend group of like 4 or 5 of us, and we would coach Orange Theory and then just like train and go run around the mountains. I did 75 hard twice in this time period, like within like a year and a half, like just very like a combination of like discipline and like adventure, like we just worked out, ran around the mountains, and had a blast, and had more money than we needed because we were like 25,
Right.
we didn't need very much money. And from this I started, we named ourselves M Running Club, which is just super like random and kind of like, and it was really funny. Like it was just a funny kind of name, and as a joke I was like, you know what, I'm gonna like make this a running club. And so, but not an in-person running club, like it was all virtual, it was all through Strava. And so I created this M Running Club, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make like merch around this, and it's gonna be kind of a joke that the name pretty much means nothing except, and I'd be like, oh, it stands for like movement or miles or like whatever you want it to mean, but in reality, like it just didn't mean anything, and it was kind of a joke with our friends. And I was like, let's see if I if I can brand this at all. And so we would make shirts, we would do collections, we would do challenges, and we got this running club up to like 100 people, and like we would sell like merch drops and like
Wow.
sell like a couple, I think our biggest one was maybe like $2,000 or something like that, which is crazy because it, again, it was just like an idea and it was fun. And so we started with that, and then I kind of set that off to the side, but it was a creative outlet to just like express through. And I knew eventually I would evolve to doing a gym and stuff. And then I worked at a gym called V23, and at V23 I started hosting High Rock Sims. And High Rocks was like brand new on the map, and it was a very like fun, energizing way to train, and it like really pushed you. And so I would start hosting those at V23. And at first it was just like 4 of us, like me and a few people that were training for it. And then I took really cool media at these events, and people thought they were sick, and so we started like having a lot of people come, and then they were in high enough demand that we could sell tickets. You just had a spider on your leg.
Oh, good.
They were high enough demand that we could like sell a ticket for it, and so we would do like a $10 ticket, and have like 30 people come, and I'd make $300, and I was like, oh my god, this is saving my life. Like this is the best thing ever. I was so poor, and and eventually I talked to V23, and I was like, hey, can I brand these under Aeon as opposed to like being through the gym? And they said yes, which looking back was probably not like a good idea on their part, to be honest. But very grateful for that. And they said yes, and that's how we were able to like grow Aeon. So we started doing the High Rock Sims under the brand name Aeon. We gave free shirts to everyone that did it at the beginning, and then we started the Run Club, and we'd meet over here in Bellevue Station, and we grew that to like 30, 35 people, and we started hosting like little events. So we would do High Rock Sims, we would do Run Club, we would do runs in the mountains sometimes, and then we started hosting like pop-up workout events. And we did one at Kula, and it went really well. We had like 70 people there, and it was popping, it was super high energy. And I guess Kula, the owner of the gym, Kula, was impressed enough, and he was like, you know what, I want you to, like, this is what we want our adult program to look like. I want you to run the program. And so I partnered with the gym, Kula Sports Performance, and now we run the full training program out of the gym. So
That's amazing. And how many members are you up to now with Aeon specifically?
I would say like it's lessened because of summer. We'll have to see like who returns that canceled recently because of summertime and stuff. But I would guess that will be at 100 by the end of September. So not crazy big, but classes like fill up still. You know, like this last Saturday was 34 people, which is like the size of an event. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I would say we'll probably be at 100 by the end of September, and that will pretty much be our cap. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's gonna be like super exclusive, like wait list.
Yeah, I guess so. That's not like the goal, but it will be too full and we won't have very many other hours that we can do it, you know? So
Yeah.
people got to work, got to make that money.
So how, like, when all these things were growing, like the M Rum Club and then the High Rock Sims, and aside from like the sick media, like how did that growth happen? Like, was it like people just like bringing
that's a
their
good question.
friends, or like were you asking people to like share, or like how did that like? I feel like that's like kind of a big growth in a small period of time.
Yeah, there's like a lot of like key things to think about. There's like there's the admin side, let's say, that I learned at Orange Theory on how to do best, and then there's the creative side. And you know, to start with the creative side, simply put, if you take a good photo of someone, they'll share it. Like plain and simple, right? And so they would come to these High Rock Sims, and I would take a sick ass photo of almost everyone there, and put it on the stories and tag them.
Oh, that's an ant.
That's an ant. That's how big they are.
Oh my god.
And I would tag them, and they would reshare it, so everyone would see. Excuse me. Everyone would see what we're doing, and so, like the creative side, a lot more simpler, I would say, and honestly, kind of easier. It's like buy a nice camera, take photos of everyone, and if you're not good at taking photos, have someone else that is, and have them take photos of everybody, and then turnaround time, like I would edit them that day and post them that day, so everyone was like, I did this today.
Yeah.
And that just made the hype grow really fast. Like when we started Aeon, I would take photos of every class and post them right after class, and people would be like, how are you doing that? I'm like, well, I fucking just went to the coffee shop right away and edited these photos, you know, like this needs to grow. I need people to know about this. And then on the other end, you know, this actually happened when I was doing 75 Hard. Excuse me. I was listening to one of Andy Frizella's podcasts, and he had some guy on who is like a really big in sales, and he says every day that he contacts 20 people. And I was like, like that's interesting. Like I should add that to my task list in 75 Hard to contact 20 people. And I was like, well, like I should have it in a way that like leverages my progress, I guess. And what I did is I had it be that I would contact 20 members at Orange Theory and just tell them that they did a good job in class today. Like that was it. It was just like, hey, thanks for coming to class. Appreciate you. Like that was the thing. And it made my retention so high because people just saw that I like cared and was grateful that they came to class. And so therefore their motivation to come to class wasn't just like for them to lose weight or whatever it is. It was like, oh, like this person appreciates when I do this. They tell me that, and then I come to class and also work towards my goal. So I feel like a good person. And this isn't like manipulation. This is just like mapping it out. I feel like a good person, and I'm doing things that are good for me. Cool, win. And so, you know, when building Aeon at the beginning, like I was really big on getting media out and then being like, yo, you're killing it. Like, thank you for doing this, you know, like I told you this, right?
Yeah.
And it's not that it's not genuine. It's just like, you do have to make it a discipline to reach out to the people and contact them. Like that's a task. But like using your spirit is not a task, you know?
Yeah.
And so,
Well, I think that's great because like, I think a lot of these people out here, the coaches or whoever, like they're thinking these things, right? Like you would be thinking it. You'd be like, man, I'm so proud of them for showing up today, and I'm so glad that they're here. But if you never say it to them, it doesn't exist in their head.
For sure,
so
yeah.
You're bridging that gap.
So, one, I definitely say what's on my mind out loud. So, maybe to a fault sometimes. But, and then two, I had a New Year's resolution back in maybe 2020. That was, if I have a compliment for someone, I have to tell them. Like if I see someone and I'm like, hey, they look really nice. Oh, you have to like let them know that you just thought that. And that just kind of built this habit for me to be like, hey, like yesterday I was at Wash Park and I got off my bike and this dude had sick like blonde hair, like he just looked like fucking Tarzan or something. And I literally waited for him. I was like, hey, sick hair. And he was like, thanks, man. I was like, cool. All right, later. I'll see you later. It's funny. His friend, actually, this girl, as soon as I said that to him, she like got annoyed and like looked away. And then I heard her after, and she was like, he doesn't even wash his hair, like, and stuff like this. And I was like, huh, that's really funny. But
She was annoyed about you.
she was annoyed at
complimenting
the
your
fact
friend?
that he just got a compliment, whereas she probably tries so hard to make her hair look nice, and she never gets hair compliment, like something like that, right? But yeah. Anyways, it's funny. Okay, cool.
That's great.
Do you remember what we were talking about?
Yeah, you were talking
Okay.
about
Like delivering compliments.
yeah,
You
and
know,
like
like
saying what's on your mind,
saying it out loud. Yeah,
and it doesn't exist if you don't actually say it.
for sure.
So.
Same way that this podcast wouldn't. You know.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you were talking when we first started about like being intentional, and that was kind of like my big question for you. So like, just being a part of the community and experiencing whatever like, how would you describe the culture at Aeon? Like that it is. Let's paint the picture.
Well, like there's, I would say there's a different culture for every class that we have. You know, I would say the 5 a.m., the culture of the 5 a.m., these are very, like every 5 a.m., very disciplined individuals that show up regularly and train really hard and then feel so good about themselves that they did this, that they go and kind of like conquer their day. You know, like that's the culture of 5 a.m., which is very much the culture of Aeon. You know, all of it is really. The culture of 625 is these people have a lot more like grace and kind of like ease and enjoyment with how they train, as opposed to being so like hardo about it. And you know, they come at 625, and these people are also like very consistent. You're one of those people, and you know, you see the same people almost every 625, right? And you know, they're also starting their day with exercise. They just let them sleep a little bit more, and that can be like a reflection of responsibilities, or that can be a reflection of mindset of, you know, this sleep is good for me. I'll allow myself to sleep like this, as opposed to, you know, it's very easy to be like, no sleep. We're locked in, focused. 5:15. We're getting it done. We're winning. Like, you know,
David
which
Goggins.
is a very powerful mindset to have. You know, both of them are. And then the 11:45 class, which I would say I'm the most a part of in terms of like training. It is the most fun group. It's the most energetic. We are super loud. We have the most energy to train, so we probably lift the heaviest. These people are both consistent and kind of random, but like at the same time, you know. It's a lot of like coaches that are also athletes. It's a lot of professionals that are also athletes. I would say most of them show up really often, and some of them just show up, go hard as fuck, and then bounce for 2 days, and then they come back again and they, you know, whatever, or they just lift or whatever it may be. And so, you know, the culture of Aeon overall has just been about like, hey, you know what, like I'm gonna intentionally choose to make my life good. And that's either the path right now is be super disciplined and regimented and wake up at 5 or 4:30 no matter what and get it in and lock in my day, which is an extremely powerful place to be. Or it's more graceful and, you know, I don't have to train with all the energy, but I also don't have to like struggle against what I'm doing right now. And I would say that's more of the 625. And then the 11:45 is, this is a fucking party and we're gonna make this as cool as possible. And those like all kind of represent Aeon right now. So yeah, that's the culture as of right now.
If you had to choose a word.
Energy. That's or intentionality. I would say intentionality. Yeah.
When you created Aeon, or as it was kind of coming together, like, is that something that you were like focused on? Were you like, culture is so important to me, like here's what I want to build? Or like, was it a little bit more organic? Like I know you're very big on like mapping out things. Was it like, you know?
Yeah, I think that there was a certain way that we did things that kind of naturally siphons out the right culture for itself, right? Like there are people that will come take class and realize that class is not for them, you know? And we started with High Rocks and these High Rock sims. And you can't come do a High Rock sim if you aren't mentally strong enough to hurt that bad,
Yeah.
And so naturally, like, damn, that kicked my ass. Why would I ever do that on a Sunday again? Like
Right.
that naturally like siphons people out. And I think, and just who I am as a person and who I was as a coach at V23 or Traverse or whatever it was, and the way I led class also set the tone of probably what Aeon was like. And there were, plenty of people that at Traverse, let's say, that, didn't take my class probably for a reason, right? And, I think it was just like an authenticity of experience and like kind of music and kind of training, and also the way that people orchestrated themselves with each other. Like, we're a very open, transparent, authentic community in and of itself. And if you can't, most people thrive in that. And if people don't want to be around authenticity, which is a very common thing, then they will just like naturally remove themselves, like this isn't for me, or like something will happen, or yada yada yada. But yeah, I would say like we weren't as intentional about like the people that were coming. I just invited people that I thought was cool, and then tried to make the events as cool as possible. Like that's what we did.
Yeah.
And with that, like, people that thought it were cool kept coming. People that didn't were out, and like that's it. And yeah, that's how you build the culture of the thing. It's like, well, who do I want to be here? Well, hey, let's say if you wouldn't have come, but we were just friends, like, yo, I think you'd really like this.
Yeah.
You should come. If you don't like it, it's not that big of a deal, but you should come anyways and see if you do. Like that was my sales pitch. And so, or just like, yo, we're doing a High Rock sim, come do this first one for free, check it out, and if you like it, we'll figure it out. But yeah, I don't know. I guess there's a long-winded answer.
No, that's great. This is what the podcast is for. Long form
For sure.
content.
For sure. Okay, next. Go for it. Okay, we're good.
Okay, good. For those listening, not via video, we were checking battery power on the camera, I think.
I think I'll clip this for you.
Okay.
I think you should clip it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Okay. Love you. I'll do the work.
Thanks.
Yeah.
really helps. Okay, so as you have kind of built this great momentum, and you've got this like group of people that are very like-minded and are all kind of heading in the same direction, I feel like you've talked about and just have put on different kinds of events, right? Like you do High Rock Sims, we do Run Club and night hikes, and you guys do like a football team and all those things. And I think you might know where I'm going with this, but just in the nature of the name of my podcast and my whole philosophy versus like what's commonly, the advice that everyone gives right now, right, is like you have to choose a niche and stick to it, right? Like be one thing, pick one thing. What's kind of like your perspective on that? Like, different things, like what's kind of like, your, I don't know, strategy's not the right word for it, but I think you know what I mean.
Like what do I think when people say pick one thing, or like niche or strategy, or I'll say this to what I thought whenever you were saying, people will say like pick one thing, or like what's your niche, and like yada yada yada. And to me, these are all kind of like buzzwords. It's like, hey, like, what do you want to do this summer? Like, what are you really, 75 hard, maybe this is like a fault. Like, hey, like, these are the things you do. And that kind of teaches a very regimented way of thinking. And, I've talked to people about like their training, and they're like, well, I want to do this, but I want this, and yada, yada, yada. And I've kind of shaped my training now to where it's like, hey, like in life, actually, we should just do whatever it is that we want to do. Like, as long as you're willing to try and make something happen, you should do whatever you want. Like, how many people would start a podcast and be like, man, I just like haven't figured out my market research yet on what my niche is going to be and how I'm going to deliver it to those people. It's like, that is like just 10 excuses that you gave me. You should actually just like film it and talk about whatever you want, and have whoever you want on that you think would be interesting, and then go from there. And then you'll figure out, and then people just gravitate to it naturally. It wasn't like when I was thinking of Aeon, oh man, like High Rocks is our thing. And it kind of, I get annoyed with High Rocks because, to be honest, I go to High Rocks events and I think they're really boring. High Rocks, you need to step it up, boys. And then two, like literally every time I go to High Rocks, I come back, I'm like, fuck, I need to start throwing athletic competition events. This is so boring. They need to make it to where
Like
it's
the
more fun to
actual
watch.
High
Yeah,
Rocks?
yeah, like the event itself. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's really boring. Unfortunately, yeah. If you're running the race, it's fine. But like Worlds, for example, like you would think it would be this whole. It was the most boring one I've ever been to in my life. Yeah, it was so boring.
Wow.
Like I didn't want to watch anybody. Yeah, I only watched really my girlfriend and her partner race.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Wow.
Yeah. And so yeah, I mean, when people like a big narrative that's just naturally formed in my life is like, what are these rules that you're trying to like instill in other people, or like what are you talking about? Like you're just rereading the book to me that you read. You're not actually like thinking for yourself or just doing what you want to do. And like that's why I really gravitated to you whenever you came to Aon. And you locked in on 75 hard right away and you just fucking hit it out of the water, because there's so many narratives that go against doing 75 hard of, oh, but you're overtraining and you're so restrictive and like yada yada, just all these buzzwords that you can give yourself as an excuse to not do the thing that you want or need to do. And but you understood like, hey, one of the buzzwords that does matter is how magically your life changes if you do 75 hard. And that's more powerful than overtraining or whatever it is. It's like, yo, go for a walk if you think you're overtraining, like, right. And what you did, like, hey, how do you maintain 75 hard every day? You don't run as fast as you can for 45 minutes every day for 75 days in a row. Like, that's how you do it. You like chill out. That's how you maintain everything in your life. Like if I only, went as hard as I could every day with work, then I would burn out, and there's sometimes when you need to do that, but then there's other times where it's like, yep, you need to pace yourself because this is 75 days long. Mm-hmm. This business hopefully will last for the rest of my life. So if I don't pace myself, then we're just gonna crash and burn, and so anyways.
So how do you pace yourself then for like life, right? Because like pacing I could pace myself for 75 hard, right? I'm like, okay, I can see the end, I can see that clearly, but we were just talking about like struggles with other things post 75 hard, right? But like how do you pace yourself when you don't know the timeline or really what the true like bounds of it are? Like how do you pace yourself with work? Like what does that mean to you? And I'm sure it changes, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know, I think there's like a quality of like amount of quality time that you can spend on something, and once that starts to drop, like how do you pace yourself with training? Once you start to get injured, you slow down a little bit and you recover, and then you come back and you can go hard again.
Yeah.
How do you pace yourself with work? Once you're going to I'll go to a coffee shop for 3 hours and I won't get that much done, and I'll be like, I didn't need to be here. I should go use my time in my life in a different way, And so, like, I don't know. I think about this a lot in terms of, like, the schedules that people will adopt at Aon, because they'll train for 6 days a week and then they'll disappear, right? Mm-hmm. And this isn't a very common thing with Aon, but it's been a common thing that I've just seen at every gym that I've trained at ever, right? It's like, good example is January 1st, right? The way that you pace yourself is you just realize, like, this isn't something that I do to get a single goal in my life. This is what I do that is my life. Like, I have trained for probably 10 hours or so this week, which is a lot, maybe 12. And, like, I'm doing it just because, like, that's what I do with my life. And I really like to bike, and I really like to work out. And I'm not doing this for, oh, man, I just want my legs to look better for summer or something. Mm-hmm. It's just like, no, I love the energy and feeling that this brings into my days. And so, I don't know. Other than what I just said, I don't really know how to answer that question.
No, I think that was great. And I think you touched on something that I think maybe people miss is just the fact of, like, being aware, right? Because how many people go, I mean, I'm in corporate America, right? And it's like how many people go through and they are in burnout, and they're in burnout for so long before they even realize that they're in burnout. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, if you can sit at a coffee shop and, maybe it is, 2 weeks or whatever, but it's like, how quickly can you recognize that you do need to pause or pivot or switch? Like, I think that is kind of.
Well, this is a whole like other side of discussion that we could have on like the trap that is corporate America, right?
Let's do it.
And I'm totally down. And so, because what corporate America does is there's like a combination of we're gonna have you work from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, which is very exhausting, and you won't see the sun, and you won't move very much, and you won't like connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you're outside of these four walls, we're going to trick you to spend all of the money that you just made on things so that you're now stuck doing this forever.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's why when we were driving here, I asked you, I was like, well, are you saving your money? And you said no. And first thing in my head was, well, you're not going to be able to quit anytime soon, right?
Right.
And, not that you're looking to quit your job, but that was something that I asked. I was like, when are you going to quit your job, as a joke? And, yeah, you're never quitting if you keep the trajectory that you have right now,
Right. Right.
Unless you're like fucking really do it like right away,
Yeah.
And so like that's the like avoiding burnout maybe in corporate America is almost impossible unless you use your what's the like paid time off, PTO.
Yep.
Unless you use your PTO wisely and do like 1 or 2 days a month to where you just give yourself a day to do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But what that day doing should be focus and building the thing that's going to take you out of corporate America. Because like, how do people deal with burnout in corporate America? They drink alcohol until they die.
Yeah.
Like that, this is like the reality of like, oh man, like how do you deal with the job that you hate and like this office that you hate going? Well, every weekend you go like as hard as possible, and then you come back in and you're like a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower. Got high because I got all this money. I spent all the money on things so that, so that I feel a certain way or think people think a certain thing about me, and then now I'm just like trapped. And I have this saying that I used to, that I'll say to people like close to me, is that like buying things is handcuffs, and even if they're Louis Vuitton handcuffs, they're still handcuffs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like if you buy, something that you can't afford that you now have to pay for the rest of your life, let's call it a house, or a car or whatever it may be, and you want to change your job, you're unable to change your job because you now have handcuffs on.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's plain and simple. And so you have to save your money to be able to navigate life with this small handcuff that you left your job with, and you can like figure it out. But that's what seems like keep people from the cushion that allows them to create their own life, I guess. And for me, I was just like always so cognizant of, God, this isn't gonna work for me. I was just like, oh man, this is like not gonna work. Like when I dropped out of college, my dad was like, you're a dumbass, and I was like, no, Dad, this isn't gonna work. And I had no idea how it was gonna work, and I still, it's working, I guess. Like it still could go away, in 2 weeks. But yeah, like that's the trap that is corporate America. And it's like, how do you avoid burnout with your job? You don't get to choose whether or not you avoid burnout. You have to go to work tomorrow, else you don't have a job anymore. And especially for a job like yours that's so personalized to like, I navigate the company in this way. If I'm gone, it's not like there's no backup for me, And so, yeah, we've got to find a way to create more like space and freedom in our lives that's for us and what we want to do, because like that's what we're actually here for. Like life is a combination of like responsibilities and then a choice and intention with how we spend our time. And the more time that we can free up and spend it in the way that we want, the better our life is going to be,
Right.
And so the real goal should be, how do you create or find a career that makes it to where you're spending your time in an enjoyable way, even when you're at work, And so, yeah. That's it. This is my brain.
That's good.
Just kidding. It's so funny.
Corporate
yeah.
America tangent. No,
Yeah,
that's
dude.
good.
Fuck corporate America. I'm just kidding. Like, well, I'm not, right? I'm not. But I said that as a joke. But really, like, this is a big issue that we like face in life. Is that, I feel very lucky to have like a complete physical and mental rejection to like being in corporate America. Like I will go be a monk in the mountains before I do that. You know, like I just cannot. And like we went into your co-work space today, and I was like, oh no, this would 2 days in a row, this would be bad. And so, you know, like, yeah, fuck being told what to do in your life and you don't want to have to do it, yet you have to do it every day. Like that sucks. And so, you know, the best thing we can do is make decisions that keep that as far away as possible. And I think a big thing for me was my dad, my mom and dad got pregnant when they were 22 and 23. And, you know, my dad was just like living on the edge and like very free individual. You know, we very much have the same spirit. My mom was too, and then they had a kid at 23, right? And so it's like, and then my dad went into the military. He became an Army Ranger, which is, you know, badass. But then he had less freedom with being able to choose the life that he wanted to have, right? Like plain and simple. And he would agree. And not that the choices that he made, you know, were not good ones after this. Right. It's just maybe not exactly what he would go back and choose for his life to be, you know? And so in that sense, if it's possible to create and build a life that isn't you choosing a path that's already created that you don't want to do, then we should go as hard into that as possible. And when it comes to burnout and balance and stuff like this, that's kind of what 75 Hard does. It's like as soon as you find the thing, like with Aeon, like if Aeon didn't work in January, then I would have had to go do sales, you know, like I would have lost. And so, you know, that's why it was so easy to work 80 hours a week, because this has to work. We got to figure this out and let's get it done as fast as possible. So it's as cool as it can be. And I have more security knowing like, you know, this is enough. And even like still like in June and July, we lost people for like the first time because it was summer and no one came to the gym. And not even no one, but just like some people stopped coming to the gym in the summer. And that was like a big like, oh shit, like people left, you know, like what? I thought we were only gonna add 10 members a month for the rest of my life, you know. But in reality, like they left, and I was like, oh shit, I have to keep marketing. I have to keep getting people in the door. And I was talking to Eric, you know Charles's dad, Eric. I was talking to him yesterday at a coffee shop, and he was like, this dude makes over $1 million a year. Like he has plenty of money, and he was like, if I don't keep getting new prospects in, then I lose and stop making money. Right. And I'm like, damn, like this is just something that is, you know, lasts forever. Is that you have to get new faces into the door. Right. Just like if this podcast is going to succeed, you have to constantly show it to new people, because eventually some people will just stop listening, and that will just happen naturally. And it's like for example, I don't listen to Joe Rogan anymore, whereas like 5 years ago I did, you know. And so yeah, back to what we were saying, screw corporate America. I'm just kidding. But yeah,
but it's like the constant effort of,
for sure, that's the thing to pour into. That's what I was so intentional with Aeon being about. It's like, hey, like your life should be full of energy and enthusiasm, and if it's not, we gotta change it. Like for real, like that, you know, that's like I talked to my girlfriend about this. I'm like, hey, like our life is gonna be good, or else we're gonna figure out how to make it good, you know? And we're gonna, and that will, you know, there will be times in our life to where we're just gonna have to work our fucking ass off so that we have the things that we want 2 years later or 5 years later. And that's very much like the age and time of our life that we're in now. It's like, hey, let's have fun and do, you know, really beautiful, fun adventures. But before we have kids, we better work and like get these things done, because once we have kids, it's not going to be any easier, you know? And we're going to have 5 kids.
Oh, man.
So funny.
Erin's going to listen to this and she's going to be like, what?
No, she's going to be like, damn, we are going to have 5 kids. That's funny. That's funny that you just said that.
I think the other thing too is like, I don't know, I just wanted to kind of maybe go down the path of like, you know, you said kind of pouring into the thing that like really, when you find the thing, but then I feel like just on the point of like failure and like sometimes things don't work out, and it's like, okay, you think that you're pouring into something and you're like, oh, well, this isn't what I thought it was. And then I think people just like stop right there instead of being like, okay, well, what did I learn from that excursion? That, okay, how can I, like, what is it? What's the next thing that I can try and pour into?
How can you converge it?
Yes.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, well, like a lot of stuff isn't what you think it would be. Like, how do you get new members at Aeon? You fucking DM everybody, and you have people come to class, and then you follow up with them, and then you call and text them and send them the link and hope they sign up, and only half of them do. And like, you know, like that's how would I get, you know, the event excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with my throat. I've been biking too much. Guys, I'm obsessed with biking right now. Like, absolutely obsessed. I biked every day, pretty much twice a day, all week. And this is like anyways. All right, I'm addicted. It's bad. But, you know, it's not as, like, glorious as you think. Like, okay, we filmed this podcast. This is the fun part. And then we pack up, and then we go home, and then we edit it, and then we put it on the platform, and it's not working. We had to learn how to change the file size, and yada, 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 yada. And then you put it up, and no one fucking watches it. And you're like, huh. That didn't go as planned. You know, like, well,
like, this
shit.
was fire. Why did anybody listen?
And then so next time you go to do it, you have less motivation because you're like, huh, it didn't get as many views as I thought. This isn't as easy as I thought. I thought our conversation was so good. Well, guess what? It probably was, but no one listened to it because there's so many steps that you have to take for someone to listen to your podcast.
Right. Like,
there's so many steps. How many podcast episodes are coming out today that I will not listen to?
The ant is back.
Hundreds. It's not gonna bite you through your pants, Alex.
Well,
there we go.
Mosquitoes bite me through pants, so. Anyway, it's all right.
But yeah, like, how many podcast episodes are gonna come out today that you're not gonna listen to? And it's like hundreds, right? But maybe there will be one that markets to you and somehow reaches you, and you listen to it today because they had a good clip or whatever it may be. And so I don't know. I feel like a lot of that is like, oh, I'm gonna try and do this thing, and not realizing that there's so many annoying steps involved with doing the thing. Like, it's like fixing the ski erg at the gym.
Right.
That is so annoying, ski erg.
Mopping the floor.
Yeah,
After
just
you
like
spill watermelon juice on it.
Yeah, but then it goes even smaller. It's like you go to mop, but the mop head isn't set up, and you're trying to get it in there, and it's a pain in the ass, and it won't clip, and then the mop bucket, the person before you didn't clean it, so now you have to clean. Like, it's way more than just the mopping process. It's all the little things that go with it. And so I don't know. I feel like I don't even remember what you asked. But I feel like it's just like there's so much that you have to like bite your lip for and just be like, all right, we're gonna let's do it. Let's just keep. Okay, I thought I was going from A to B, but there's all those little micro steps. I'm still trying to go to A to B, so I got to do all these micro steps to get there, you know? And it's really annoying, and it's taking way longer than I thought, and it turns out that I used 7 hours of my Sunday that I thought I would only use 2 of because I thought it was easy to do all this, but it turns out 2 hours isn't enough to do the thing, you know?
Right.
And so, yeah. That was a very common thing at the beginning, is like, I was working every day, and I was always like, Sundays, I'll just spend 3 hours, and I'll work. And then I'd be at Corvus for like 6.5.
Wow.
And I'd just be like, damn, that sucked. But then that week we would win because I did that.
Right.
And so I was like, all right, well, like, stop thinking about the hours that you have and just think about the task that's ahead of you. And, you know, 6 hours on a Sunday became normal, or whatever it is, right? But anyways.
Do you edit? You do all the editing for all your videos?
Yeah. Yep.
Did you self-teach yourself all that?
Yeah.
What program do you use?
Premiere. Yeah.
How much of like a time suck do you feel like that is? Do you enjoy that part? Like, what is your...
I mean, sometimes, but like, I don't want it to look bad.
That's fair.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure I could hire someone on Fiverr to edit my videos, but like, it's also kind of your taste. It's like your style. Like, how you edit is kind of like how you want to express it. And like, if someone else does it for you, then it's like,
yeah,
cool, you know? And because like I do view the videos and stuff as art, let's say, for the brand.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I edit on my own right now, and then I have I have friends that are learning currently, and I let them edit, and then we kind of go through their edits and be like, all right, here's how, here's what I've learned to make this more engaging. And then eventually, like, watch this, a year from now you're gonna be watching Patrick's videos on the Instagram page, like,
Yeah.
and that's how it works. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
I guess on that same kind of thing, I was thinking about it a little bit earlier when we were talking about like culture and all of that. But like, you can only do so much yourself, right? Like, you can't coach every single class. Like, how do you go about like deciding like who not only is a part of your community, but who is like a leader of your community? Like, you've got a handful of coaches, at Aon that teach classes. Like, how did that, like, obviously you'd probably worked with them before and you liked their style and felt like it fit, but like do you feel like control, like do you have like control issues over that, or like how do you
I mean, yes and no. Like, there's a certain standard that like has to be held in a way, and for example, like if Ethan's coaching, I'll be like, yo, fucking tell me what to do, like that's a big thing that we work on with Ethan. It's like like, be assertive, like you are our leader right now, whereas Ethan is a very, hey guys, like, what's up, right? Like, he's a very like cool person, and he's also, I don't know if he's ever been in like an authority role of like, hey, boom, be quiet, this is our block, like the way that I'll tell people to shut up and listen or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't feel, and I felt like this before when I coached at V23, everyone there was like 40 plus, right? Kind of. And I was like, man, like, I kind of feel like I'm teaching you, like, this is a weird thing for me. And I think Ethan's just going through like that stage of coaching or whatever. But I don't know. I think like a big thing that gets me excited is if someone's into it. Like, if they're like, into class, and I'm like, all right, like you're about this life. Like, do you want to lead a class? Like,
yeah.
And then if people like it and how much, how naturally they they like connect with people, or hold like an energy or the music they play or something like this. And I think that's a big thing for me with, like, for example, Allie coaches on Tuesday, and she's so different than Ethan that like you can't even put them in the same category, right? But they both have something that draws people to like want to take their class, or at least not be like, I never want to do that again, you know? And there's definitely like, that's the biggest thing. It's like, you go to take someone's class, and there's things that will never make you want to come back, and like, I need to, as long as there's not very many of those, like, and I'll tell them, I'll be like, yo, like, that song sucked, right? Or like, there's been fitness classes that I've taken before, where I was even just like, oh man, like, that was way too loud, or his or her voice on the microphone was just like, she talked the whole time, like I wasn't trying to hear all that. But maybe that's the beauty of Aon, is that we don't have a microphone. So like, we coach when we coach and we talk, and then music plays and people connect and do their sets. Like, that's kind of a beauty of our structure right now. And so, but yeah, I mean, yeah, as long as there's no points that would make people really wish that they wouldn't have come and taken that class, and then there's also things that people would love, like that's really what we point to. And then development for coaches right now is just very loose, because we only coach, Allie coaches 2 classes a week, right? And so it's like, and the people that come have learned to love her and they're her friends, and so it's not that deep on, hey, you missed this cue or whatever. Whereas like at Orange Theory, we would get drilled and tested and like, all this stuff. And so yeah, we're not there yet, but maybe soon. So yeah.
That's exciting. Since you brought it up, what do you see for the future for Aon? Like, maybe in the next 6 months, and then maybe 5 years. You're also allowed to pass if you don't want to
Alex,
talk about
we'll
it.
talk about this not on camera. Just kidding.
Or maybe goals that you have that maybe you would like to share with your community, right? Because I always feel like it's cool to kind of see where
Yeah.
people see something that they're a part of going.
Yeah. I'll say this, like, with the opportunity that we have now, I think a lot about how to make people want to keep coming and stay and make this like a really big part of their life. And my only goal is to, within the like frame of creativity that I have, like make that as high as possible, you know? And so, you know, eventually we'll have to get our own space. When that financially makes sense and the location makes sense and stuff like that, then we'll do it. And with that, we would have more creative expression to make it as cool as possible, right? And so, but I'm also like really grateful for the space that we have now and like the culture that we built and the black walls and the turf and like all this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm not in a rush to get necessarily anywhere. I'm just trying to make sure that it stays good and also have the conversations that will lead us to the future of where we want to go, you know? So, but in terms of like, maybe like short-term things, like I'm trying to get sports more involved, like with the community. Like if we, you know, we started a football team, if we could do more stuff like this, you know, it makes our training worth something a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it just makes life more fun. And then, you know, I would love to have, actually I had this really cool idea. But it's kind of more closed off, but I was thinking last night how we broke our juice fast last night, right? And we were making this really good meal that was like ribeyes and sweet potatoes that had cinnamon and salt and honey and stuff on them, right? And I was like, man, like restaurants suck. Like most restaurants are so overpriced, the food's not very good, it's cooked in with shitty ingredients, and like the atmosphere is like way more like commercialized than you know. It doesn't feel like home, right? There's very few that do, and if they do, they cost a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, how cool would it be to like rent out an Airbnb in Cherry Hills for a night, for a Friday night, and just sell tickets that were dinner tickets and just have a huge dinner at this house.
That'd be sweet.
It would be so cool. It'd be so cool. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm a really good cook. Patrick is a really good cook. We have a few other people that are really good at cooking, and we could just be like, yo, like, we'll do the same price tag as if we went out to a nice dinner, except we'll have full creative control of having this house, and it'll be really beautiful. And we'll have parties, like a party that's containable and how we want it to be, you know. And we'd sell like 25 tickets at a time, and it's just little things like that I would love to have a part of Aeon that are like one-offs every month, where it's like, hey, tonight is like dinner night, or you know, we have a speaker coming and yada yada yada, and so stuff like that. Is stuff away from training that brings people together is kind of what I've been thinking about lately.
Yeah.
So,
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, just as like a member of a community, right? Like as people are adults and they're like trying to make friends and all these things, you hear people say, and I myself, right? Like I'm like, well, I have friends that I play tennis with, I have golf friends, I have gym friends, and I have these friends, but there's not a whole lot of crossover where it's like, oh, well, I have this like random event that I want to go to, but like I don't have any like friends that I would know to like invite to something like that. Like I'm not going to invite my tennis friend to go to this concert with me. Whereas like what I feel like you're building is more of like that, like well-rounded, like we're actually building friendships, not just gym friendships.
Yeah. It's like, this is just what we do as a byproduct of having an awesome life, not, hey, we go to the gym and fucking,
and that's the only place
we're
ever
gym
talk to each
goers,
other.
you know? Yeah. And so, you know, that will be the case for some people, but the main thing is like, the main blessing of Aeon is just meeting other like-minded people that are kind of on the same wave as you know, and you can put them all in the same room and it's not going to be like weird or like, oh man, we're not the same, you know, or something like that. Whereas you'll go to other fitness community events that are much more generalized and broad, and you're like, oh, whoa, there's like 20 different genres of people here right now, you know, to whereas at Aeon, like the style of person foundationally is kind of like all the same. Like people are just like trying to do their thing and make whatever they're doing like better, you know. It's kind of the ethos, I guess. So you should invite your tennis friends to the the thing is, if we do a dinner like that, it will be Aeon only. Like that's a byproduct of being in the community.
Right, like you have to get into
like
that community
no random
first.
people can come to our dinner at the house and be like, who who is this guy? You know, who is this? Like, it'd be much better if there's at least a small foundation of like connection that, oh, I've seen you in class. Like, I'm Jacob, yada, yada, yada. And so, yeah. For sure. Sick. What do you guys think? Give us a 5-star review if you liked it. And if you don't, you should DM me and tell me why. So we can make it better for you.
Oh, I would love that. Honest feedback.
Yeah.
We'll post one of those like anonymous like Instagram, you know, where you can send people anonymous questions.
Oh, yeah.
Just get anonymous feedback.
Yeah, it would be fun to have like questions and stuff.
That would be fun. I was thinking about it. I was like, I should post a little story and say, hey, I'm having Jacob on my podcast. Like, tell me your questions. Maybe we could do that.
And people would be like, who is that? They'd be like, who's Jacob?
Well,
What is Aeon? Oh, is that gym thing that you'll post sometimes?
I think like 75% of my social media now is like people from
Aeon
Aeon
people.
So,
Yeah.
And everyone else is just kind of like sidebar.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Aeon's fun. I'm very grateful that
So
it
tell
exists.
us, I guess this is kind of a good wrap up point, but tell us how we can, people who aren't a part of the Aeon community, because there are folks out there who aren't a part of this community, how can they get involved in Denver? How can they get involved if they're not in Denver? And how can they connect with you and get involved?
Well, I guess the way to get involved the most is to actually just like be like, you know what, I'm gonna make my life what I want it to be, and then from that, maybe you'll just be more naturally drawn to be a part of stuff that we do. But the way to get involved is to just maybe after hearing this be like, you know what, maybe I should make the things that I want to happen a little bit more, you know? And that sounds like a really weird response to this, like, oh, follow us on Instagram. It's like, yeah, follow us on Instagram. Sick, you know? Like, follow me on Instagram. That'd be awesome. But, and, you know, and then at the same time, like, make your life sick and you post it too, and I'll follow you back. And then there will be both of us, like, doing cool stuff, you know? Like, that's the way to be a part of Aeon. If it's an idea of, you know, a combination of energy, enthusiasm, and like intentionality, then just like, hey, today's Friday.
Yeah.
Today's Friday. We're about to go into our weekend. What do you want this weekend to look like? And let's say this was your last weekend of the summer. You know, like, let's say your life ended January 1st. What would you do this weekend? You know, and is that possible? Or, and if it's not possible for you to, well, I would go to Switzerland. It's like, all right, well, obviously you can't do that, but what can you do like here that would be really dope? Yeah. And so, I don't know, just like make your life super cool and follow us on Instagram, I guess, and we'll follow you back. And yeah, and it will be sick. And if you want training and dope ass workouts and to get into really good shape, either message me or sign up for the online or in person, and you can join the crew. But yeah, we provide the training and you just make the daily decision to make life sick. That's it. So cool. That's super long-winded. I would chop that up if I could do it again.
Well, that goes against the whole point of exactly. Authenticity. I think that was great, and I like it. I like that it wasn't just like a canned answer. Like that was great, and that's why you're here. So thank you for taking the time. We've had a little bit of an adventure this afternoon. We made it to the great outdoors, which I'm so grateful for.
Yeah, isn't this sick?
This is so much better.
Yeah.
I got a few steps in and wearing my golf shoes right now, if you can see that. So it's just been a really good time. So thank you so much. I would love to have you back anytime. We can go into something in a deeper capacity, because there's lots of things out there to talk about in the world. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, if you're watching.
Let's go! Yes!
Boom on 3.
Woo! 1, 2, 3, boom!